Hello, hello, hello. It's Anne Lewis, your independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, based on the Sunshine Coast here in Queensland, Australia. I teach card making and scrapbooking and love sharing my passion with you. Now, let me know if you can see and hear me. I've got a wriggling little thing on my lap, who for some unknown reason has decided that she's going to be very shy. So I'm going to show you. You can just see her, my new little crafting buddy. This is Kiko. She's only been with me 5 days, so she's still a little shy, but you've asked to see her. So this is Kiko. Hopefully, see, I've dressed her up just for you fellas. There's a few of you wanted to see her. Isn't she cute? But she is a little wicked. She loves my crafting room, and for some unknown reason tonight, she's playing shy, and she's pretending that she doesn't like being in my craft room. But I think it might be my rolling chair. But she is gorgeous, and she is super, I don't know, she's so affectionate, and she's sitting here purring now, but she doesn't actually like that much. She'll tolerate being cuddled for a little bit. She likes doing the cuddling, not me doing the cuddling of her. So anyway, this is Kiko. She's going to say goodbye now. Yes, and that's her choice. So you have seen her now. So now let's get back to the crafting. Let's show you the cards. Wait a minute, I'm a little confused here. Yes, Kiko is fairly adorable. And I know now you're not even going to concentrate on the cards and I'm going to be worried because now she's going to jump up on the table even though she didn't want to be here before. Ideo. So tonight I'm showcasing, I suppose, the colour white, which is very unusual, but how to make it absolutely pop. So I've got 3 different ways of using white to make it look, I suppose, sophisticated, which was my challenge, rather than some of the more casual cards that I usually do. So these are a little bit more dressed up, formal, but I think you can use them for however you like. So I will show you these. So this is the first one I'm going to show you. So it's white on white with just a little touch of black to make the sentiment pop. Yes, she is a beautiful assistant, Carol. So then another way of doing it is with some dies, and then this one here. So let's get started because it will take me a while to get through these. Now, each of the projects featured, I'm just getting my first card, I'll get out the bits and pieces I need, are available from my online store. The link is available in the description of this video. Now, I have done some preparation, hopefully, to get through all these 3 cards, but let's see how we go. So I'm going to do a little tiny bit of die cutting, mainly of the main feature. I'll bring this card back so you can see what I'm doing. Hi, Myrtle. Sharon says she really likes white on white. It's one of my favourite, and I hadn't done it for ages, and I thought tonight's the night. Now, one of the things to mention is, whilst I've used some of our new products, the Magnolia Mood bundle, which I've probably used a fair bit. I haven't got a lot of new products because, as you know, I've been away, and so I'm a bit short. So this was a really good way of using what I had. So Magnolia Mood is an online exclusive, so it isn't in the catalogue. You can't see it in the catalogue. go to my online store, just search for Magnolia Mood or online exclusive, and you'll be able to pull up the stamp set and the dies. Now, I'm also using Painted Textures, which has actually been around for a little while. It's an embossing folder. It's a 3D embossing folder. It's one of my favorites, and I keep going back to it. So I've already, as you see, embossed this, and it really does have lots of definition. Now, I've got my card base, which is 8 1/4 inches by 5 1/2. Of course, it's basic white. I could have done this in some thick basic white, but I've chosen to just keep to fairly basic. Oh, fairly basic. Too many basics. Hello, Lynette. How are you? You missed my new crafting, mate. If you scroll back to the start, when this is finished, you'll be able to see Kiko, my new craft assistant, also known as a pussycat. She's only been here. She's a rescue cat. She's been with me for about 5 days. She's settling in pretty darn good. The card that I'm making tonight is this card here. Well, I'm making a few, but this is the first one that I'm making. So I've done the first couple of layers. So let's do the actual die cutting. Now, I will say this die is really, really detailed. And what I should have done, which I obviously didn't do, I'm looking for my pokey tool. We'll use this. It's just got a little bit of crap left in it. Okay, so as you can see, the amount of detail on this die. So it does take a little bit of die cutting to get it to cut through the layers, especially as I'm going to be adding, hopefully, some of our adhesive sheets. Of course, it is so fine, I don't want to actually be gluing those really little fine pieces. It's a lot easier doing this. But as I said, especially when your plates aren't really as flat as you'd like them. So I'm just going to cut this to the size of my paper. Where's my pencil? There's no great art to this. And this comes in peel-off sheets, so that'll make it pretty simple. I'm a little surprised I've got a bit of piece here. I thought she'd be up on the bench. So I'm going to just peel this down, put it down here. Now, to be honest, you don't have to have every tiny bit of this die covered. And throw away the backing sheet, which is this. Turn this over because I'm going to be cutting from this edge. Now, this has made the paper a lot thicker. So that's one of the many reasons why it will be a little harder to die cut through. I'll have to do it a few times. So I'll bring my cut and emboss machine. I'm going to remove the paper because this silicone mat will hold it into place. I'll put my paper back in a second. Oh, I don't know how to do this, but anyway. Well, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it to keep it all on the screen. So I have I've got so many platforms, but anyway, I've got the main platform, the thick platform, the thin die adapter, and then I have 2 of my acrylic plates. I'll start from this end. This is my sheet. This is my die. I just want to make sure that I'm got this happening where I have the adhesive sheets applied. So I'm putting the die onto the cardstock and not to the adhesive sheet side. So let's pull this back. Now you will see me do this a few times. And I wanted to show you this. I could have die cut this out earlier, but you wouldn't have then known what to do if your plates are as crooked as mine. And as you see, they're pretty crooked. So I'm just going to put this through a few times because it's got to cut both the paper and also that adhesive sheet. And I'll just check it. It's looking like it's popped out. So that's looking pretty darn good. So that should just pop out pretty simple, but you saw me put it through 4 times. So let's see if this is going to pop out as easy as I'd like it to. Okay, so I want my my pokey tool, which is, oh, here it is, hiding on my desk. Now, I'll use my brush first up. This is what happens every time I use my brush. I'll put it on here and then I'll clean it off. So this is the quickest way to do it. Now you've got a brush with take your pick tool. I'm just using my old one. So most of that has come off. It's not that easy to get off the silicone mat. If I don't get it off and I start stamping, you know what's going to happen, don't you? Then I'll pop this out. Now they have little holes here to make this easy. So to be honest, that came out super easy. Because I've got the silicone mat, I just get a baby wipe to clean up all these bits and pieces. It seems to pick them up a bit easier than my fingers. And here we go. So how gorgeous is that? Now there's a couple of little ones left I've got to pop through. Now I'll bring my cardstock back, clean up these last little bits. Obviously the vacuum cleaner will have to come out later. Now, so this is already sticky on the back side because I've already applied it. Now to make it a little easier, this is why those strips are there, I'm hoping you'll be able to see I've got a line down there. That's where it's going to be the easiest to peel this paper back. So not difficult, just got to be a little careful with it. The more care you are, the quicker it is. All right. So that was, you can see how easy that is to peel off. And we'll go in the other direction, because now it wants to be difficult. Oh, here we go. Just one of those things, be careful with. More care, you don't rip that really fine die and you get it all off in one piece. And I've got another, I think I've got some more to come off here. So who uses adhesive sheets? Glenda likes this bundle as well, and I certainly do. It's just divine. It's got so much detail. So all I'm going to do, so simple, you can see how gorgeous and fine that is. It's all got adhesive on the back, and you saw it wasn't difficult to peel off, actually. I think I might have a little bit left. Not that it's really going to matter. It's only a little bit. Yeah. There we go. Now I'm just going to centre this. And I don't think it really matters. It's so easy to use. So that's how gorgeous it is. Then I'm going to pop it up. Put that out of the way so I don't lose it. My thing. I'll pop this up because one of the things I say with using white is you've got to have some texture, which is why I use the embossing folder. It also, the more layers you have, the richer it also looks. It makes it pop a little more. Oh, sorry, trying to get these backs off. I always put some in the middle so that if it won't collapse. Now, if you're having a look at my hand, it's kind of got some really big scratches on it. And yes, there is a link between Kiko and the scratches, but not that she went to scratch me, she fell and I tried to catch her. Obviously, she hooked onto me instead of what she was climbing on. I know. So there we go. Now, I felt that it did need a little bit of pop, so I added the basic black, and a happy birthday. You could do this anything. I'm going to open up the inside of my card. Now this is this beautiful fine font. Put the lid on my ink, and if you wondered why I would do that, where's my little scissors? I'm just going to fussy cut this, and you will see that it's pretty simple. I think adhesive sheets, Sharon said she really loves them as well, is one of those products that are just made to make our life easier. And we always want that when we're crafting. So I'm not doing anything, I was going to say anything fancy. I'm certainly not doing anything fancy, and I'm hardly even doing anything fussy. So there we go. So you can see what happens when I add the black. I might just use some of my little mini dimensionals. You can see how quick and easy this card is. It's not difficult at all, but it's got that wow. I don't think I've done a white on white card for a couple of years. Okay, so here we go. Just add this down. I'll bring my paper back actually, my grid paper. Bring my grid paper back. Now I'm not going to do the inside of the card, but I'll show you how I did the inside of this card. All right, so there we go. Now, what I have here, you might have a little bit of trouble seeing it, I added another die cut flower, which I didn't cut on this occasion. I used the sentiment from the stamp set on the inside. So happy birthday on the outside, just a note to let you know that you are loved. And then I've got this embossed piece down here, which I'm hoping you can just see. Now, do you like the embossed piece down there, or would you leave it plain? Let me know. Leave a little comment and then I'll tell you what actually happened. Now, before I put this card away, I'm going to add some basic iridescent pearls basic jewels, which are still available. They're probably my favourite gems because, one, I can colour them to be whatever I like them to be. I'm going to use big ones. I've got a bit more space with how I've arranged this one. So as you know, I keep things fairly simple with my bling. Don't go too fancy. Up here. I know, so not keen on the embossed inside. I love your idea. I know, so some like it, some don't. Well, I'll tell you what happened, so you'll know why it's there. It's not my favourite. I wouldn't have done it as a design feature. But what happened was I put my finger in the ink pad, and underneath there is a great big black blob. So that's how I've hidden it. And that's just one of those things. It was either that or throw the card away or put another sheet on it. And I thought, since I had the embossed on the front, it was a really easy way of tidying up the inside. So there's the card. As you see, they're very similar. This one I added also another set of embossed leaves, but I wanted to show you how to keep it fairly simple, and kept it just to one die, and then I would decorate the inside. So I'll clean up this bit, and then we're going to go on to this card here. Sorry. Now, this time I'm using a pop of colour, but I kept the colour really, really soft. And probably one of my favourite colours, but I don't use it that often because I'm always doing the big, bright ones that you can see. Now, I am featuring the Thoughtful Wishes stamp set, which is on page 46 and 47 of the annual catalogue. It's one of our suites, and it comes in a bundle. So I've got these dies. I love the dies. I haven't unpacked these like I normally do and have them on a sheet. So it's got a whole lot of little dies, so they're really pretty. I've got some of these cut out somewhere because I did have a little play with those. It's got this really fairly extravagant detailed die here, and it's got the one that I've used on the first card, which I'm going to use again. So it has 11. Actually, I've got that in the wrong sheet, but anyway, I'll put it back in there so I don't lose any. It's got 11 dies with it. So, really simple card. I kept everything pretty basic. A little bit of embossing powder on this. So my cardstock, again, I've kept to a standard card size, which is 8 1/4 by 5 1/2. My first layer is, I have to double check, I'm going off memory now. My first layer, which is soft sea foam, is 3 3/4 by 5 1/8 inches. And my top layer is, I could work this out if I wanted to, but obviously 3 5/8 by 5 inches. Now, for those that use our trimmer, or any trimmers really, you can see I've cut this 3 sides on one side, then I've obviously turned it over. If I wanted to get rid of that, I could just do that, and then I wouldn't have that little ridge there. So the first thing I'm going to do is die cut with this die. Simple die. Put it on a little bit of an angle. Place it kind of somewhere. It's not that important. Bring back my cut and emboss machine. A bit of that. Find my plates, which I've thrown away somewhere. There we go. And I've got 2 steps to this, because remember I spoke about adding layers and adding texture. So again, I've got the basic platform, which is number 1 on the Company Emboss machine. I'm just using some old platform. I'm using the thin die adapter, platform 1. Sorry, acrylic plate. which will be, I think, 3. Now, so I'm just going to put this at a bit of an angle. Probably more to the right, because remember, if you look at the card, or actually more to the left, I've got the actual die that I cut out offset, so I need some room for that. Let's throw this through. That should cut really simply, this one, because it's not very detailed. Let's have a look. Except it cut so well it fell out. I don't. There we go. I'll get rid of that die. So that's my top layer, and that is my die that I've cut out. But I want to be able, I felt that was too plain, so I've grabbed the Fern 3D embossing folder, which is carryover. I'm going to emboss that. So it's got a fern, I don't know whether you can see that. It's got a fern pattern on it. So I'm just going to line it up with one of those ferns. Not that you have to do that, but it'll make it a little simpler. This time I'm only going to use the platform and also number 4 plate, which is the 3D embossing folder plate. So no thin die adapter and no acrylic plate. Let's see, I think that's all I'm going to need. If I needed to add another layer, I could easily add the thin die adapter. Let's see how this turns out. Perfect. Doesn't need anything else. I think that's my die cutting for the night, so that's good. And just got to grab my card and pull it back over. So first thing I'm going to do is that's going to sit there. And I've made this time my border a little finer because I thought this was a little chunky. Sometimes you've got to make a card to know that it's not going to work out. Now, there's a right and a wrong side for the die. So all I have to do, yep, that's it. So I just want to offset it a little bit like this. Now, there's only so many points that I can glue. That one, that one, that one, that one down there, and this down here. So I'm not getting too carried away. I'm not going to add a lot. So I know the top bits, I need to add a little bit of glue. This bit over here, this bit down here, and that bit there. So that'll be enough to hold this together. Don't want it to offset. They'll always turn out a little different each time. Now I am going to pop this piece up. So I'm going to grab some mini dimensionals. Oh, it's a new sheet. Don't know where a new sheet. Oh, wait a minute. Here's my old sheet. And before, I'm going to find a big thick spot that I can pop up this just to make sure it's supported. I've only got only got a couple of spots I can do this on. But it'll just support it a little bit. Then I want to put some of these around the edge. Now there's a bit of a secret if you're die cutting the center of a piece of cardstock, is make sure that you're supporting actually around the die cut as well. Otherwise it'll just all fall in and won't look as good. You get to choose how much or how many you actually add. Wait a minute, I've got comments here and I haven't been reading it. Sharon was just commenting that her mojo's gone. It always goes for us. It disappears, but it always comes back. And it's just how long it takes to come back. As in, I always find, I know mine has gone, a few times, and sometimes it's gone for a very long time. But how I get mine back, oops, there's a little bit of dimensional there. I'll just stick that down if I can. Is actually just start crafting and don't care how it turns out. Don't worry that it's not perfect. Don't worry, there's not anything exceptional. Just craft for fun. And normally, I don't know that this is the right size. I have to check this. Oh no, it's the right size. It's just hard to line up. When I'm not above it. I think that'll do. And it is such a small edge. So I'm going to, it's turned out a little different than the other one. As always, I'm going to add a little bow using some white twine. I could have added ribbon, so many things. This one looks completely different. It's probably because it's not on a background yet. Maybe I did need a little bigger border. I don't always get it right. I'm still sick. I have to say, always when I lose my mojo, it's been sick or it's been a really tough time. So I feel for you. Your cards are always amazing. But sometimes I think also you just need a bit of a break. You just got to stop and catch up on other things. I don't. Add my bow here. Oops, got that glue dot all over me. Let's do this a different way. There's a couple of different ways you can do this, but I'll put my glue dot down there, my bow on top. There we go. Now I have a little, let's put this here. And I'm going to pop, oh no, I didn't pop that up. I just put it down flat. So let's put it down flat again. Using my multi-purpose glue. Then I have, I'm hoping you can see this, is I appreciate you. It comes from the Thoughtful Wishes stamp set. Whoops, I'll bring that down a bit. And I just embossed the sentiment, and I liked adding just that touch more of the soft sea foam. Sorry, I get distracted there. And again, I'm going to add some of these gorgeous iridescent pearls. We don't have a lot of solid white embellishments, so this is a great opportunity to use these. In fact, I think I'm going to have to add some more to my order. Okay, so there we go. For some unknown reason, and I can't really even tell why, this one probably just needed a bit more of an angle, but that's okay. They're both pretty cards, and just adding that little pop of colour. And it's a really easy technique, that. just offsetting the die that you cut. Now, the next one, as you see, I've kept this. I haven't even added a sentiment. It was just, I wanted to keep it super, super clean. This time, I have got my card base, which is 8 1/4 by 4 1/8. So it's a square card. That's how this works. And it's only a small square card because I wanted it to have the wow factor. And if I made it too big, it was going to get lost. So I've used this stamp set. Oh, I haven't even put from the Magnolia Mood stamp set. Now, I haven't added the little sticker. Now, I'll show you how I add the sticker. It's a little different than what's actually in here. Here are the instructions. Now, everybody has a different way of doing this. I'll just show you mine, not because it's anything easier or better. It's just the way I find it, really easy to line it up. So I just put the sticker on a block, take off the backing. And this is why I do it, because I find it easier to line up using a block. So I get the edges better. I can pick those 4 spots. That's why I do it that way. So there we go. So now it's got the sticker on the back of it. So how does everybody else put their stickers on? Does anyone not put their stickers on? So I'm just seeing some comments. Right. So now I've already done the hard work and I've embossed this. Now, in case you're not used to embossing, I use the Versamark ink, and I'll just put this on. I've got a spare sheet there. Where's a piece of... I've got it. Oh, here we go. I've got a scrap piece of paper here. I'll just show you what I do. Where's my... So I'm using some Versamark ink, which is kind of like a... I don't know what I would call it. But it's not like a normal ink. It doesn't have any colour. It's clear. So I make sure I've got lots of ink on it. I would also get our embossing buddy, which I'm hoping is somewhere handy. There's 3 embossing buddies here. And I use embossing buddies because when I go to apply the embossing powder, because I've been touching this paper and it's got my, my hand, the oil for my hands, glue, it's been probably around the craft room a bit, it will pick up embossing powder where I don't want it to pick up. So here we go. Just going to stamp this down. I'll grab my embossing powder, but I might use a different colour this time because I'm running out of white. Let's use, so I've got that there, and you'll just see what actually happens here. What colours have I got here? Yeah, I think I've got a black, haven't I? I've got a black here. I don't know. It's just so if you're not used to embossing, you'll see how this comes up. Now for a stamp set like this, to be honest, I use a very technical term, I just shove it in. Make sure it's covered that stamp really well. I tap off the excess. And then I've now got embossing powder all over my desk, which is never a surprise. Where's my baby wipe? That's the other way of getting it off my desk. It's a really easy way. That silicone mat picks everything up. Here we go. There we go. So that's how once you add the embossing powder, and then I get a heat gun and melt that, and it'll turn out like this, except this one will turn out black. So just in case you're not used to it, it's a really simple process, and I have quite a few videos that show how to do that. But I just didn't want to spend a lot of time tonight. Now, as you see, I have, whoops, this, make sure I've got this the right way. So I have my card base, I have another layer on top. Now what I did with this layer is I've got some scoring marks. Now, scoring and white works really, really well. And I think it would have even looked good with quite a series of them or a whole lot down the center. But I kept it very, very simple because I wanted to show you how easy it is. Now, I could have used my paper trimmer, but I'm going to pull out my scoring tool. And I'm just going to score 1/4 of an inch all the way around. I don't even know which one I'll use the fine one, I think. So it's got two ends, the stylus that comes with it, thick end, finer end. I'm going to use the finer end. Now I could have, if I was going to keep it within a square, so not do right to the very edge, I could have drawn on the back and that would have made it really easy. Right, let's get this in the right spot. Oops, this is when you're at the wrong angle. That's what happens. So I'm just spinning it around because my card doesn't come to 4 inches, it only comes to 3 7/8. So it's easier to pick the 1/4 of an inch here. Go a bit slower. And I wanted the profile to be on the other side. So I've got the valley on this side and the mountain on the other side. So that was pretty simple. You see, this is such an easy card to put together. So I've got the pop of white underneath. So I use the stylish shapes, which must be somewhere here. Somewhere on my desk there would be some stylish shapes. I'm not sure where they walked, which must be here. Oh yeah, I'm throwing things on the desk, on the floor now. So I'm going to put that there, and then I'm just going to pop these up. So I do them in layers. The stylish shapes have the lovely stitched edges, hence why I like this. So I put it on the white. Now my white layer is 2.5 inches, I'm pretty sure. I'll let you know in a second. Whoops. Got that. That little pussycat is 2.5 inches square. And that gave it that perfect edge to get that nice clean border. So these cards, you can see, whilst they're quite sophisticated, none of them have taken a long time. And if you're doing embossing and you're going to do multiple cards, you can just emboss in a row, add the embossing powder, and also heat it using your heat tool. I'm just looking for my... They've walked, every one of them. All right, let's get a new one. Oh, here they are. Here's some anyway. This will do because I want to pop this up. It'd be easier if I had this. Only going to put one in the center. I do. So Glenda adds the stickers exactly the same as I do. Everybody else glue Glue ink. Oh, glue ink is what she's saying. Sharon is saying is what the Versamark ink is. Rightio. So I can decide. I could have it. I like this hanging down rather than going up. Oh, let's put one up, one down, and then you can see the difference. My corners aren't exact, so let's refix that. And then I'm going to also, I think I popped this up. I did. So I'll pop this up as well. So now, as most of the time, Stampin' Up have a special offer at the moment. If you spend $90 from my online store, you will receive a $9 coupon that you can spend in August. So I've put in an order this week. I got my coupons sent to me via email. So you'll need an email address so that they can send them to you. I don't spin this over, pop it up, and how sophisticated does that look? Love these 3 cards. Would make a nice, either separately, not together, but particularly number 1. I'm just bringing this one back. This one. I don't know where my magnolia one has walked somewhere. Oh, maybe I put it back in my desk. In here, I did. It's exactly where it should be. Right out. So there's, let's do them in order that I made them today. So who's going to have a go at white on white or white on neutral or with a very small pop of colour? So card 1, card 2, card 3. So which card is your favourite? You can even say which technique is your favourite because they're all kind of a little different, but you can see that white was the dominant colour. I'm just waiting for a little bit of feedback, and whilst I wait for the feedback, I'm just going to leave them there. I'm going to see if I can find a little putty cat for those who have missed seeing her. Hello. Oh, you're so gorgeous, aren't you? Hey, you're going to say goodbye to everybody. Hopefully they have a really great, let's change the video. Whoops, you're scared. You haven't been scared at all, have you? Sorry, it was a hello, Auntie Madeline. Number 2. Hello, Auntie Madeline. This is the one you've been leading astray. Oops. Hello. So she's got her pink collar on to say hello to everybody. And I'll put you down. So number 2, number 1 and 3, 1 and 3. So there's always a difference. Everyone likes different cards. But I think these are my favourite, but I love this technique. So that's a bit of a difference. Madeline was leading Kiko astray, giving her bad advice about my ribbons a couple of days ago. So that's why I said hello to Madeline. I'm going to leave it there. So thank you very much. Now next week I'm upgrading my internet to get fibre to the premises. So hopefully that will make, I'm a little close here. I need to sit back a bit. I was lining up for pussycats. So hopefully next week I will have the internet, and I will even have a lot better internet than what I have now. Should be able to do uploads a lot better. So everybody, I hope everybody gets lots of crafting done, have lots of fun, have a great weekend, and I look forward to catching up with you next week for another round of stamping with me. I love catching up with all of you. Bye for now. Have a great week.